Giddy up and get ready to live the ranch life you know you deserve, as we look at 10 objects from the Horse Ranch expansion pack that you need to start using. As always, we'll look at 5 which I believe to be standouts and 5 which are underused, with a few bonus mentions at the end. Before we begin, know that despite the game registering them as objects, I won't include mini sheep or goats as part of the 10 because they're not really meant to feel like an object. Nor will I include the resonator guitar, seeing as it's an early purchase incentive and it's not a long-term part of the pack. And with that, let's begin with a standout, being Prairie Grass. That's right, it's a patch of grass that'll blow your mind. Alright, I might be overselling it a little bit, but bear with me. Prairie Grass costs just 5 simoleons and will begin as mid-height grass, but much like elephant toothpaste, this grass will grow, but in a less extreme way. If left alone, this grass can be a passive food source for ranch animals, including horses, mini goats, and sheep, and once prairie grass has been eaten or harvested, the patch will regenerate naturally over time. If you harvest prairie grass, then you'll receive some prairie grass hay that can be used to feed animals both by hand or by stocking an animal feeder with it, and it can also be used as an ingredient in nectar making as well. On top of this, you can find all sorts of things while cutting down prairie grass, like horse manure. I know, exciting. But in actual awesome news, you can get various plants, frogs, crystals, and even find full bottles of nectar to boot. And the nectar that you find can sometimes be finely aged and worth a few thousand simoleons. I know what you're thinking, and yes, you can cut down prairie grass all the way to riches. Next up, we're going to take a look at an underused object, being the Ranch Community Board. While you can find this board in various areas of Chestnut Ridge, having one on your lot is extremely convenient, particularly if you're trying to live a ranch life in a world that isn't Chestnut Ridge. You can use the community board to plan a ranch event, hire a ranch hand, as well as to purchase animals from the Ranch Animal Exchange, and admittedly you can also use your phone for these. Much more notably is that the board can be used to send your horses off to training and to have your horses enter competitions, which will save you a loading screen heading off to the equestrian center every single time you want your horses to compete. And trust me, in the long run this will save you so much time by not having to sit through those pesky loading screens. Finally, you can use the community board to take on community jobs, which are small rabbit hole activities that take 4 hours, which will see you return with some money based on your horse riding skill, and in many cases your horse's skills too. There are also some jobs that require you to have mini goats or mini sheep to take on as well, and overall these can make for a great side hustle for your Sims. Let's go back to a standout now, being the Nectar Maker. You'll be stomping your way to success and riches with this object, which, as you might have guessed from its name, is used to make nectar, and in doing so train the nectar making skill. Think of nectar as being the Sims equivalent of wine, with different bottles requiring various ingredients and also providing different effects when drunk. For example, some will give your Sims particular moodlets, while others will fill various needs like hunger or energy. And there are even certain nectars that only specific occult Sims like vampires, werewolves, and spellcasters can make, and which have effects that uniquely affect them, such as a vampire's plasma nectar restoring their vampire energy. Perhaps the most notable nectar is Vitality Nectar, which will slightly lower a Sim's age by a few days, or alternatively, if it's drunk by a ghost Sim, then it will literally bring that ghost Sim back to life as a regular Sim. Nectar can make some serious money too, and when it's placed in the world, it'll begin to age. If you're able to wait long enough for nectar to become finely aged, then you'll often be able to sell it for many thousands of simoleons. And did someone mention aging nectar? Yes, I did. It was me. Well, consider this a segue into the next underused object, being the Rancher Stackable Nectar Storage Rack. And this object really lives up to its name, because, well, it's stackable and it stores nectar. Each rack can store up to 13 bottles, and storing nectar in them will see them age slightly faster than those stored randomly in the world. Also, the fact that each individual bottle that's stored in the rack is visible really does spark joy. So too do the many options that will help you quickly quickly and easily manage your nectar and track which have become finely aged. The racks can be named as well, which is great for organizational purposes or even for if you just love to name things. Let's look at a standout group of objects next, being the many involved in horse care. The Hey Now horse bed is the perfect little bed for your horses to sleep on, and you can assign beds to your horses, which I imagine they would love. Then you have the animal feeder, which can be filled for 30 simoleons or with prairie grass to keep your horses fed, as well as the water trough, which having a horse drink from will help them to recover from fatigue. Finally, there's the big ball that horses are able to play with too. I also want to give a quick mention to two of the medium doors that come with the pack, being the cross-buck sliding barn door and the cross-buck double barn door, as Sims are able to go through these even while mounted atop a horse. The sixth object is underused, and it's the While the Iron's Hot fireplace. While this is just a regular fireplace, it's rather unique in its design, being smaller than most as well as having an intricate and cute style. And it just provides the coziest of feelings to an area that I absolutely adore. Back to a standout object we go, being the horse obstacle objects, and there are vintage and certified versions of both barrels and jumps. You can train with your horse on barrels to improve their agility skill and jumps to increase their jumping skill, both of which are most notably used to help place in horse competitions. Riding horses while they train on these obstacles will improve your Sim's horse riding skill too, and at level 3 horse riding, your Sim can direct horses to train on these obstacles by themselves. In addition, when your horse reaches level 5 of the agility skill, they'll be able to race barrels, and at level 5 of the jumping skill, after adding advanced jumping rails to the jumping obstacle, your horse can practice advanced jumps. And both of these interactions will see your horse train their relevant skills faster, but lead to a little bit more fatigue in the process. Once your horses gain a few agility or jumping skill levels, then they'll sometimes autonomously interact with these obstacles to improve their fun need too. Seeing as competitions are rabbit hole events, I feel like the ability to train on these obstacles is what brings to life and makes the idea of being a horse trainer who competes feel so much more real. Also, the animations being rather awesome helps too. Back to an underused object we go, this time being the ranch signs, and these objects can be customized through various ironwork signage objects to help give the ranch a bit more of an identity. From mini goats to sheep and cows, llamas, chickens, cow plants, the freezer bunny, horses, and more, it can really help you show off what kind of ranch you're creating while also acting as a rather grand entrance to your property. Let's turn our attention to the final standout object now, being the boot Scootin dance floors. And did I just hear you say 5, 6, 7, 8? Well, yes, those are the iconic vibes that this gives. Or you could go with Miley's Hoedown Throwdown, that works too, because the Horse Ranch Pack gives you access to the all-new Cowpoke dance, which really just sparks joy, and it's a staple for a ranch gathering event. Note that if you have the Get Together expansion pack, then using this dancing mat will train up your dancing skill too. And I should also flag that while the Cowpoke dance itself is exclusive to the Horse Ranch Pack, dance mats themselves also come with the Get Together expansion pack and the My Wedding Stories game pack. Now for the 10th and final object, which is a quick underused one, being the Nectar Country Barrel. While this is predominantly decorative, unlike the similar salvaged barrels, the Nectar Country Barrel is actually a surface that can have things placed on it, and this can be an awesome surface to pop things like nectar or even a radio on, letting you stay immersed in the ranch theme and giving you more flexibility when it comes to decorating. Now just before finishing up, I do want to flag that there are a few other awesome objects that come with the pack. However, I didn't want to mention them as part of the 10 because they overlap with other packs. For example, you'll gain access to another woohoo bush which can be used to relieve your Sim's bladder, sleep, and even woohoo in. But keep in mind that very similar versions of this object are available with the Get Together, Jungle Adventure, and Werewolves packs. Next up is sleeping bags, which can be popped into your Sim's inventory and taken around as a comfy place to whip out and sleep when camping. But again, sleeping bags also come with the Growing Together expansion pack. You'll also gain access to a rocking chair, which were previously exclusive to Nifty Knitting. And finally, a fire pit is also included in this pack, which is great for camping and cute moments like toasting marshmallows. It's also great for starting fires, but that's another story for more chaotic times. Note though that fire pits also come with the outdoor retreat game pack as well as the little campers kit. And with that, we're at the end. That's 10 objects that you need to start using from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. Of course, the objects mentioned are entirely my opinion, so if I missed anything that you yourself love, then please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Also, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and I hope that you have an amazing day. See you later!